that would have like the meat that in the freezer, so you don't actually have to always go out and like hunt animals or something. You could find occasionally get meat from like a freezer or something in a grocery store.
Yeah, but the power would be out. Wouldn't wouldn't that be an issue?
Yeah,
Well, it could be
apocalypse.
raw, and then you could just go like
It'd be
heat
all
it up over
rotten.
a fire.
So somebody's
So maybe like
asking,
gives you an infection if you eat it.
what's the biggest change plan for the future of the mod? Kind of a big question, but
What was that?
what's the biggest change plan for the future of the mod?
What's the biggest change?
Yeah.
Um, I suppose it's going to be for this version. Is that what we're asking? Just for this version?
Well, it's just what's planned, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, like future plans, so like what we was on about earlier with base building.
Well, the two biggest ones are going to be the base system and the journal. The journal's it's going to take a lot of work to get the journal how we want. To be able to drop it, carry it, move it around, change it into a crafting system, bring the gear menu in line with it as well. The base building is going to have um, a lot of systems we're going to have to put in place to stop the system being abused. We're not. Um, it's not a standard system. There'll be no other mod that has what we're planning at the moment for the base building. We'll be the first one to do it. But it's going to take quite a while for us to get that base building system in place, get it running, get the kinks worked out, get the how you take over, how you capture, how you recapture, how you lose, the implementation of how the Zeds will spawn, how they work with the new camps or the new bases. It's going to be a big challenge.
So somebody just asked, how about we have food and drink items named after DayZ community members? Well, we used to have that, but it's been removed since because a lot of people were complaining that it was breaking their immersion and
It
stuff
breaks
like that.
immersion. Yeah,
Yeah.
so zombies don't break immersion. Come on.
Right. We did. The issue with that is when we renamed them, when we did the changelog, we named them all specifically in the changelog as who they were. So Dr. Frag or Dr. Wasteland's Coke, we put it in the changelog as Dr. Wasteland instead of just putting new drink item. And a lot of people picked that up straight away without actually even seeing the kind of model. When they saw the model after, they realised that, well, you can't actually tell. You would never even know in game. It's just adding a bit more colour to the game. Now, no one's seen any new threads pop up about the cans in 0.7, and all the cans are back in 0.7. We added them all back in. We just changed how we put them on the changelog.
That's going to be on Reddit pretty quickly.
Everyone.
DayZ developer scams all of
He
DayZ.
lied to us.
Yeah.
Nerds.
Well,
Steal
no one
computers.
lied
Oh.
anyway. No one lied anything. We took them out because they broke immersion for the changelog. The changelog, we added them back in that didn't break any immersion.
Yeah,
and
anyone
immersion.
on my
That makes me
stream
laugh.
Again, guys, DayZ standalone, no questions about that. Razor can't answer those. You can ask them, but you're not going to get an answer from us. You might get an answer from the chat, but not from us.
For future updates, are you guys ever going to add like more spawns, like residential spawns or military or anything to like other towns? Because I know there's towns on the map that there's like literally nothing good that spawns there, so no one ever goes to them. There's just like abandoned towns. Are you guys ever gonna add like markets or anything to those towns?
Now, this comes hand in hand with why we changed the loot tables the last patch. We got criticised a lot for changing the loot spawns, how the loot spawns around the map. So we take away the central points of where everybody goes, i.e. to get medical, they go to the hospital. They don't bother with anything else, they just go to the hospital. So we changed that to try to bring people out of just those hotspots, so they use the little houses a little bit more. Because at the moment, on the last patch, the little houses were never really used. There's very rare anything decent got spawned in them or anything usable for more than 5 seconds. So we tried to move that away and generalise the tables a little bit more, so we can create more more player areas so they can go to it and find what they need or find items they need based on what the houses would normally be. You walk into a house, in your local
User joined
estate,
your
you're going to
channel.
find someone has a bandage, or they have paracetamol, or they have cans. Oh no, anything really. If you walk into houses in the States and some of the like Texas things like that, you'll find guns and all sorts. There's no
Oh, yep.
reason we can't have those in the houses. So our aim for the last one was to try to bring
User
the
left your
hotspots down a
channel.
little, get some of the older houses that we
Buddy
never
left
really
your
used
channel.
before used, and try to create new loot spawns around the map. I don't know if how many of you have actually seen it, but there's quite a lot of new loot spawns around the map. This
Yeah, I
will
like them.
lead in later to new buildings, hopefully, and then try getting new areas built up around certain towns that were never used to try filling them out a little more. But again, everything has to take time. We have to take our time on everything. If we just dump them in, we're going to have problems with them later. So we need to take a bit of time to level them out, where they need to go, how they need to go, and all of that sort of stuff.
So somebody's asking about the loot spawning. They're asking if it's ever planned to fix it so that you can ride up to a building in a vehicle or a helicopter and
No.
loot it.
No.
Okay.
No, we won't be adding that. To be honest, if I could surround every town with something that vehicles cannot go into, I'd prefer to do that. I'd rather take the vehicles away from the players going into towns to some degree. The
Okay.
problem with the vehicles, the Zeds can't damage them properly, and when they can, it's little buggy. Helicopters don't get damaged by Zeds at all, and when they do, it's once in a blue moon. So it's pretty much a free ride, like you're seeing now in the video. When we get out and you get into trouble, you run straight back to the helicopter because you know the helicopter will protect you from the Zeds. If you take those factors away, you're going to be having a lot more trouble all the time.
Okay. So somebody's asking if there's any changes to the map planned.
To the map,
Yeah.
no, there's no changes for them. We're not going to do any changes just yet to the map until we can get other things we want planned. No
Okay.
done. And I know the guys are working on new loot spawns around the map, so as I was saying earlier, the loot spawn system changed for that purpose, so we can get new spawns into the map in new areas, or in new locations within the same buildings, like the barracks. You walk into a barracks, where's the first 4 places you go? Each corner of the barracks. Now, if we take that system away and start spawning loot around the barracks a lot more randomly, it's going to change how the game feels, how the game actually plays. And that's what we're trying to do all the way around. Adding loot to like the wrecks on roads. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but there's you can get loot out of wrecks on the road now.
Okay.
So we are trying without actually changing the map. Changing the map is a drastic change, and we need to fill out a lot of the other stuff before we start making the big drastic ones.
Okay. Somebody's asking if we can study bodies and stuff. A better body studying system so it's more detailed about how the person died.
We are looking. We are looking into it at the moment. We have changed the study body a little bit, but there's a few problems with it. How much more detail do you want? I suppose is the question. There's no player identities on the characters at all at the moment. So how much more information can we give without it breaking any immersion, which is the big key everyone shouts about?
People, I think what he's meaning to say is like when you search a body, like I guess I could say all the time. Like if you check a body, it will just say like the player's name was killed by an unknown cause. Like people want to know who killed that player or who did what, so that they can kind of be the hero,
Oh,
I guess.
I would say just like a gunshot to the shoulder or something.
well, from
Yeah.
what I've seen so far, if you look at a dead body, it'll say it was shot to the head.
Yeah,
So-
it does actually do that now, but it's not quite accurate. That's what people are trying to say.
No, it's because we're fighting the blood system all the time. Because the blood system's kind of different to how Armor 2 reads and writes everything. The most of the time you get killed by blood loss, which doesn't really give you much info. But when you do get the cases where someone's been headshot, you do get more info. So it's a system that we're always fighting, like with most of the systems with Armor 2. We're fighting all the time. We may get them right eventually, but it's going to take time.
Oh, and one annoying thing that think could probably be fixed easily. Like, when you put things in tents, it doesn't really show you how much room you have left in the tents. Like, say when you're looking in your backpack, it has like the number of how many spaces it has and how much you have left. Would it be possible to implement that into like tents or vehicles? Because I put plenty of things in tents where I thought they were like not full and then they just delete the thing.
Yeah, we did in point 7.
Yeah, it shows in the
Yeah,
top
I'll
right.
show you guys right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mulder, pull it up.
yeah. So if I go into the gear menu here, right at the top, you can see how many slots are left. So it says 1 weapon, 11 items, and 4 backpacks. And the weapons, it's a bit odd because tools are also counted as weapons. So if I put, say, my NVGs, if I had some in here, it would take up 1 slot, or if I put my matches in there, it would take up 1 weapon slot.
Do sidearms take up weapon slots?
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
So that system has been done. We did bring that system in point 7. It is a little bit difficult to tell in point 7, but hopefully the new UI, the new gear UI should help that out a little bit more with the pictures in the top corner. Hopefully.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
nice.
From seeing him do that, it seemed a little bit easier, but I personally just haven't been able to see it in the new ones.
Yeah, there is a case factor that it could not put maybe not being pulled up for you, depending on how you're actually looking at the helicopter when you're looking at the gear, because it's based off your cursor. So if you're looking away from the helicopter and you're actually using the gear menu, because you can do that, you may not be getting the figures in the corner as well.
Okay.
There is a few things you can get missed on that.
Wait, Cola, I don't think it's possible to make it so the tools have their own section.
We we can, but then
Oh.
we still have to fight Arma 2's engine all the time.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, the engine is
Yeah.
gonna...
Sometimes
that.
it's better to leave what we don't need to fight alone, rather than trying to fight more with the engine than we need to. DayZ is so heavily scripted already that we prefer to leave some things alone, so we don't have to kill ourselves. The carry slot alone, if we do once we do get that implemented, that's going to be changing it enough to cause us problems.
Mhm.
Alright, there's an M14 aim here if you want to go pick it up and throw it in the helicopter.
Okay, sure, I can go do that.
We need to get fuel as well.
Yeah, we will in a bit. So somebody's asking if you can add, like, completely random weapon spawns to, residential. So say one guy is, like, might be a total gun nut and he'll have, like, a sniper rifle in his house. Another guy might have, like, a pistol. So it's a bit, like a really rare chance of having, a military gun spawn in a residential.
We do have some weapons spawn, but we'd have to do a bit more background check on Chernos to see how Chernos actually is as an area, how they are with weapons.
Well, isn't this real world Czech Republic really?
It is to some degree, but we'd still need to check on how weapon orientated they are really. Because obviously you go to some areas and there'll be major weapons everywhere, and you go to some here in the UK, we can't have weapons at all.
Somebody...
I mean, here I got like four firearms in my house right now. Alright, I got a question actually. Can you change how much place the sidearm takes up? Because 2 M1911 does not take up as much room as an M107. That's actually an interesting question. I was wondering that myself.
I suppose we can. When we go back through the classes, in the next couple of patches, we're going to be changing the whole system for the class. For the whole class system. At the moment, what's happening is we changed something like the I don't know, say the M107. Best one that comes to my mind. We changed the M107 and then we downloaded the beta, and the beta actually changed it back and give you an auto lock-on box. I don't know if anybody remembers that little box that came up in point 6.
Yeah, I saw that.
That box was actually a cause of the Arma 2. Someone editing something in the beta. They changed one of the base classes for the M107, so we got an auto lock-on. So what we plan to do is take away all that system. So our systems will rely only on our systems, not on whether the betas update something there, because that's the biggest killer for us at the moment. Every time the beta